Joining us from Geneva is Arnaud Bernaert. He's World Economic Forum Head of Global Health and Healthcare. Arnaud, thank you for joining us. It's uncertain times. Many people watching us will be scared. Many of them will be at home. What are the lessons that we learned from China? Are people, should people self-isolate? And actually, how quick a recovery, if everybody does what they're told, could we see?
Thank you very much. Well, lessons learned from China at this point in time are pretty clear, even though this is not the end of the journey, unfortunately. But they tell us that well-orchestrated, well-communicated, clear containment measures implemented with speed have an effect and can radically change the outcome of the pandemic.
When will we see the peak? I know it seems that every country in Europe and now the US, especially with what they've done in San Francisco, is taking different measures. Do we need a worldwide measure approach, or because we're 2 weeks behind here, 1 week in advance here, it's very difficult to act all in a concerted action?
I think you have to look nations by nation. There is not one situation at this point in time that is identical to the one of your neighbor country. So I think I insist again about the speed of interventions and the clarity of the communication and the measures, and the fact that containment measures have a very clear effect. I would also like to comment on that when those measures are guided by the scientific community and the most notable epidemiologists. I mean, they are certainly having even more of an effect.
Well, when we talk about quarantine measures, we're here, some of our audience in New York City, and it is unbelievable how quickly this city can shut down. I want to move from a quarantine to a potential treatment or a vaccine. What are you hearing from the scientific community about how far off we are from a potential vaccine?
Well, it has been made clear that some vaccines, in particular one of them, is getting into phase 1 clinical trials under the guidance of NIH at this point in time. That's a very good news, certainly, but you need to understand that phase 1 means that we only verify that the vaccine is not toxic to human. It's a stage that is very early in the discovery process. You have to remain to demonstrate efficacy and most importantly also that the vaccine can be manufactured at scale, which is an issue in the context of existing filling capacities for vaccines globally. So I would say promising, but there is still a long way, and I tend to agree with clinical experts on that. 18 months is a reasonable time frame for seeing a vaccine administered to patients in real life.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that I just moved here from San Francisco, where the whole focus is on big tech and the role of private sector and what they can do to help contribute. What is your role or your thoughts on the role of big tech and the private sector playing a role here?
No one can work alone. No one can work in silo. I mean, governments are making their shares. Citizens are becoming increasingly compliant to measures. As a business has an immense contribution to make. And that's where the World Economic Forum created this COVID-19 platform. It was just 6 days ago. And 6 days ago, we got hundreds of CEOs join us in the launch of the platform. Ever since, we have received an impressive number of commitment and ideas to explore in coalitions and public-private partnerships. I think if you think about big tech, I think big tech can play a huge role. I mean, thinking about advancing electronic diagnostics, thinking about promoting telehealth or solutions that are going to offload hospitals, or thinking about the type of artificial intelligence technologies that can be used to actually better customize protection measures and the guidance to populations.
Thank you so much, Arnaud Bernaert there. He is the head of global health and healthcare at the World Economic Forum.